Is this a fair point?
Not when it pertains to him. If you're talking in general about black folk and how we're perceived, absolutely so. I've said this on many occasions, and I'll say it again. When you are a black person with incredible potential, folks are more interested in controlling you than exploiting your talents and your gifts. If you're white, they're more interested in exploiting it and maximizing it to the nth degree. It is something that any successful black person will co-sign. America and its history in corporate America and beyond has absolutely positively proven that point. So when LaVar Ball says that, from a generic perspective, he's absolutely correct. But if you're talking about LaVar Ball specifically, doesn't apply here. LaVar Ball is not Michael Jordan with 3 sons, chirping and talking and talking smack and being as loquacious and demonstrative and attention seeking and what have you. I personally like the man. I don't have a problem with him the way a lot of people do. But to answer the question specifically, it's not applicable to him because whatever about him that turns folks off and what have you, it has nothing to do with the ability or inability to quote unquote control him. It's the fact that he's ubiquitous. He's omnipotent in today's day of sports television. He finds a way to make news and bring attention to himself no matter what. And he does it on purpose. And he does it with a son who's in the NBA, who's questionable as a number 2 overall pick in the NBA draft. Another son who went across to another country and committed a crime and then comes back to the States, and dad doesn't seem that interested in holding him accountable for his transgression. And I'm not saying the kid deserves to be excoriated and labeled such and such into perpetuity. No, I'm not saying that. But you don't want to come across as always giving him a pass and never wanting him to be contrite or apologetic in any way. And then you have another son who you pulled out of high school. And you didn't appear to have a plan or whatever. Don't tell me Lithuania was part of a plan. Nonsense. It was not. And so when we look at it from that perspective, and the fact that you still go about the business of adroitly generating attention to yourself when there's nothing about you or your children as of yet that has warranted the level of attention he has received, that's not about somebody wanting to control you because you're black. That's about you depositing checks verbally no one has yet proven they can cash. And that's what people have an issue with LaVar Ball in this particular sequence. But generically speaking, in terms of black men, he's absolutely right. And the question asked by the host, it was absolutely an appropriate question.
It was an appropriate or an inappropriate question?
It was an appropriate question.
It was appropriate. The question was appropriate. Okay. Yes. If the question is, do you agree with LaVar Ball that people are scared of him because he's black, then my answer is no, because people aren't scared of LaVar Ball. LaVar Ball's not perceived as a scary figure. He's perceived as a disarming figure. What people object to about LaVar Ball, and I am not one of them, I am here saying, those are not my kids. He's raising his kids. You know, and his basic attitude is when this is all done, let's see how it shakes out, and I think we'll be good, the Ball family. And he's been criticized for things like exploiting his kids by people like Charles Barkley. And I also don't think that's exactly right. So I've generally defended LaVar Ball. My problem with him was when he was, I felt, bullying a high school coach who did not have the kind of platform to hit back. I think when you use your power to go at someone less powerful who doesn't have a chance to hit back, you know, attacking the powerless, it's a form of bullying, and I don't like it. And I posed that question to LaVar when he was on the show, and he gave me a consistent answer, which I bring up all the time, which is he treats everyone the same, whether it's the president of the United States or a high school basketball coach. Whether or not I think he should show greater restraint when he's punching down as opposed to up, it's not the way he sees it, and at least he's consistent. So I don't think that if the question is, are people scared of LaVar Ball because he's black, then I'd say no, because they're not scared of him. But that's not exactly what he said. We're paraphrasing. What LaVar Ball said was, they're scared because when one of us is uncontrollable, they're scared. So if he's referring to the fact that white people have a reaction to black people who don't seem to subscribe to the orthodoxy as white people see it culturally, then I would agree with that point. That's clearly been the case frequently. If LaVar Ball would have said something, and that's what he said, if LaVar Ball would have said something like, I don't get the benefit of the doubt because I'm black, or people are predisposed to start their opinion of me from a position of suspicion because I'm black, I would also agree with that. But I don't see him as a scary figure, Stephen A., and I don't think other people see him as a helicopter parent or a stage mom. People are basically saying, stop stage dadding your kids. And I don't think that's a racial issue.
Well,